Yeah, and I agree with that. And welcome back to the final segment. And you're hearing my buddy Keith Norman right now talking about the Browns pick David Bell, wide receiver from Purdue. And I feel this was a good choice, Keith. This was a really good choice. And I think this is something the Browns needed.
Well, yes, as I just mentioned, David Bell was the Big Ten, one of the Big Ten best receivers. I think he was the freshman of the year. He is he can catch the ball. I mean, have great space. Then have excellent speed, and it would be a very, very welcome addition to the Browns because they sorely need it at the wide receiver position.
Yeah. And the talks with the Baker Mayfield trade talks between the Browns and Carolina have sort of shut down for right now, and because with Carolina drafting a quarterback, and I think that's probably a good thing in a way.
Well, as I also mentioned earlier, there was talks in which it was becoming very close to a deal. However, talks broke down over the amount of money that the Browns wanted to pay.
Yeah, because the Browns were willing to pay a part of his salary, and so that was probably a big question there. And the New York Jets are on the clock with pick 101, and their pick is in. We're just waiting for somebody to come up to the stage so we can listen in. So but I think it was probably a kind of a unpredictable night draft-wise for the Browns and all the teams that were drafting tonight.
As far as the Browns media are concerned, it's quite a perplexing and surprising night.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I very much agree with you on that, Keith.
The talk, the scuttlebutt is with the Browns were so much involved in trying to negotiate to have Baker Mayfield traded that they pretty much
yeah.
I don't know if they were saying neglected the draft or they made the third round. So got a talented receiver among the second wave receivers that were coming out in the second.
Yeah, you're right. You're correct. You are absolutely correct. And I agree with you wholeheartedly on that, Keith. As we wind down this third round of the NFL draft.
However, the draft is not over yet. And there are speculation that the Browns, they wind up drafting a kicker before this draft is over. So,
and I think it's over at pick 104, I think.
Well, we will find out probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
The final rounds start to come in tomorrow. So, let's see if the Browns invest the draft pick.
Yeah.
Kicker. There is talk of a kicker out of the University of Oklahoma that might be
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. We shall see, and I agree wholeheartedly with you on that one.
All right, Scott.
All right, kid. Thanks for joining me, buddy. All right, we'll talk tomorrow. Bye-bye. And that was my buddy Keith Norman you just heard. I thank him for joining me tonight. We have a few picks left until this round of the NFL draft is over. And the Miami Dolphins pick is in. And the Dolphins pick is in. It's Larry Kosaka, 1987 Pro Football Hall of Fame inductee. Let's listen in and see who they have taken. This is their kind of first pick in this draft this year in round 3. They didn't have a pick in the first 2 rounds. Channing Tindall, they have linebacker, Georgia. They have selected, and so that is I think that's a great pick for Miami. And he is a linebacker from Georgia. He's one of the best of all time, as you just may have heard. And he really put up some big numbers last year with Georgia. And you give him the ball, he can be aggressive inside in the pocket. He had 108 tackles, 16.0 TFLs, and 12.0 sacks. And right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are back on the clock, and their pick is in with the 103rd pick. These Georgia linebackers get off blocks. He can blitz. He can cover. He can play the Mike. He can play the Sam. Well, they don't play Sam basically because everybody plays sub. He can play the Mike. He can play the Will. He can blitz. This kid right here. I don't understand. Look, I know people don't value off-ball linebackers, but this kid's a good player. How about this? Something about 7 Georgia defensive players selected in this year's draft. That's the most defensive players from any school in the first 3 rounds of a single draft in NFL history. The Chiefs are next. Here we go. And we're about to find out now who the Chiefs selected, so let's listen in. Leo Chenal, linebacker, Wisconsin. He was a big-time linebacker at Wisconsin. He put up a lot of big numbers. And he can really put the pressure on you. He can make you pay. So I think he's going to be a valuable addition to the Chiefs. So and I just said he was first. He had 114 tackles. He was 3rd in the Big Ten in his career, and he really put up some big. He's going to be a great addition to the Chiefs. The Rams are on the clock for the pick 104. And so I really think Leo Chenal is going to be a good addition to the Chiefs. The Rams on the clock, and with their selections the Chiefs have made, they've done really well. And the Rams on the clock with the 104th pick, and I think they're going to take probably a safety, I'm going to say. And there's still a lot of great players available on the board, so we're going to have to wait and see what happens. And we'll see who goes up the board. The pick is in. We're waiting for somebody to make their way to the stage so we can listen in. And the Rams are the reigning Super Bowl champions, and their team is basically set. With them having Odell Beckham Jr. and Matthew Stafford, their star quarterback. So right now we're going to listen in to see who the Rams have selected. Listen, we're going to find out who it is right now. Let's listen in, as I just said. I'm now going to turn it over to franchise rushing leader, Mr. Steven Jackson. Pipe down, world champ. As a kid that grew up in this town, 6 miles from here, I had this same dream that I'm about to present. But I want to tell everybody that has a dream, always remember, like this town, bet on yourself. And with that, the 104th pick in the
2022 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams select Logan Bruss, guard, Wisconsin.
And they select Logan Bruss, guard, Wisconsin. I think that was a good move. Logan Bruss, which was a guard from Wisconsin. He put up a lot of big numbers with Wisconsin last year. And he's going to be a great addition to the Rams team. And he had his second team all Big Ten. And he can really be aggressive in the pocket, and he can really make you pay. He can really make your defense pay, I should say. He can really keep you on your toes, and I really think this was a good move for the Rams. And I really do think that this was a good move for the.
Offensive line U is Wisconsin. That's what they've become. To get an offensive line out of this Wisconsin Badger program, you know they're probably NFL ready. They coach to the hill.
And the San Francisco 49ers are back on the clock. Their pick is in. We're waiting for somebody to come up the stage, and so we can listen. Let's do it right now. We're about to find out who the 49ers picked with pick number 105. And they select Danny Gray, wide receiver, SMU. That's who they select. And I think they needed a wide receiver. This was a good move for them. And that's going to wrap it up. That ends the round 3 of the NFL draft and wraps up tonight's edition. And this was a very unpredictable night as we thought it was going to be. And the Browns made some great picks. One was fair, but I really think we have more picks tomorrow. And Danny Gray had 40 receiving yards, 803 yards, and 9 touchdowns. And he used to be a great addition to the 49ers. And I think Danny Gray is going to put up some big numbers last year with SMU. And I really think tomorrow, I think the Browns have a few more picks tomorrow in the rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7, and we will wrap this up tomorrow. And boy, this was first 2 rounds are really unpredictable. 4 quarterbacks go off the board tonight. 4 of them tonight, or 5 of them, excuse me. 5 quarterbacks go off the board tonight, and this was really. And the Bucs will be on the clock for tomorrow for round 4. And so that's what it'll start with. And I'll have to play catch up because I'm working at 1 at my job at Heinen's. So I will be with you as soon as I can. And so you'll just have to give me some time, but I'm going to move as fast as I can on that. And so a lot of wide receivers went off the board tonight. And I really feel this was one of those drafts where anything could happen, and I really think it was the wide receivers that really went off the board tonight. But as I said, 5 quarterbacks go off the board tonight, and the Browns mix some really good picks. One that was a fair, and one they traded up was the 44th one. And this was a very unpredictable night, to say the least. And so that wraps up tonight's edition of the draft. And that is basically going to do it for this edition of Scott Sports 101 2022 NFL Draft Edition. And I'll be back tomorrow for rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 257, the 7th round, which will be known as Mystery Relevant. So I will see you tomorrow for the later rounds and to wrap up this year's draft. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day, every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1, I'm done.